You're listening to the Macks with Sterling and Taylor Mack. Highly opinionated, and you just might learn something. Come on in and enjoy the listen. Got another installment to the Macks. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You like, damn, we just saw y'all this past week. Now you know you throwing something else out here, boy. Y'all throwing out this CONTENT. Left and right all day, every day. That's what we do to the Macks. Taylor Mack over here on the East Coast, Sterling Mack over there on the West Coast. Sterling, how you doing?
I'm good. I was trying to make sure you spelled content right.
Yeah, I just spelled fast. That's how it rolls right there. That was slick. You like that? I know you're impressed.
I don't know about that, but
slick opening, real slick opening. So we got a lot of stuff obviously going down in the sports world that we're gonna hit. We're coming with straight opinions, no facts, little bit of facts dipped in with the strong opinions. Kawhi Leonard officially traded to the Toronto Raptors in an exchange for DeMar DeRozan, and they also sent a protected 2019 pick and the Spurs sent Kawhi and Danny Green. Someone else in the trade. We'll break it down. And then also within the sports world, you had the MLB All-Star Game happen. You have Mike Trout versus Manfred, the MLB commish. You had the All-Star Game go down. You had Josh Hader all of a sudden become the Twitter villain, I'll say.
Ooh.
So there's a lot of stuff going down in the sports world. First, where do you want to start off with? What you want to start with?
Let's start with Kawhi, man. I think that's the easy one, right? Because I think the first question is it's essentially on the Raptors, right? Is this a smart move for the Raptors knowing that he is going to the Lakers? My answer is kind of yes, but not really, right? Mm-hmm. Because ultimately he's going to be a Laker. So now there's questions, Chris Haynes of ESPN, Woj has also reported it that he may not even want to play for the Raptors next year. That's how bad he wants to be in LA. That's how bad he wants to play for the Lakers and play with LeBron. So if that's the case, you just gave up your franchise player, the guy that's been there for 9 years, the guy that's really taken you to ascension essentially in the East, and that's DeMar DeRozan, and traded him away, probably your best franchise player since Vince Carter, right? And you can really say a better consistent player. And now you bring in a guy that doesn't want to be there. You don't really. Kawhi 2 years ago was a top 5 player, but what is he now?
Hold on. Don't pull a Skip Bayless or Stephen A. Smith. Don't go that route, brother. Don't do that one to the fans. Don't do that one to the folks.
You got to be real though. We haven't seen him play in a year, and when he when he came back those 9 games, he kind of looked like Kawhi, but he was also hurt. So is he healthy? I mean, that's a serious question.
It's not a serious question. I think Kawhi is going to be Kawhi. He's going to be the silent assassin that we all know him to be. See, everybody, all these sports people, they want to come out. We haven't seen him, just like yourself just did. We haven't seen him in a year. He's been injured, left, so forth and so on. No one said that same thing when Mike Vick went to prison and came back. All they said was he's about to be a step slower. So why do we want to do this to people? Mike Vick went to prison. He's only been out for an injury that, yes, it's we don't know the severity of it. You had the issues between him and management and dealing with it. But boy can ball. It's not like he was sitting out here eating Frito chips and Lay's on the couch for an entire year. Yes, was he ducking them when they were in New York for the playoffs and doing all that? Maybe. But boy was still out here training, getting better, looking lean and slim.
I'm just saying, if he is healthy, yeah, right, he's now the best player in the East. If he's not, if he's like he was those 9 games, there's an issue. Obviously, right?
Right. See, what Kawhi needs to learn is you make up that LLC over here, make an LLC in the United States, then boom, your taxes when it comes back through from that, Canada U.S. exchange over there, it's going to be a little bit lower. He might learn about something business wise, getting them paychecks in Canada, and learn, and grow to learn Toronto, grow to love Toronto. Sorry, not learn.
I think that's the thing with DeMar, right? Is he really, he's a Southern LA dude, but he grew to love Toronto. And Toronto during Summer League, he was at every Toronto Summer League game, and they were like, "Yeah, we're not trading."
It's so dirty. Sterling, what's the favorite phrase that we like to say out here about these teams and these owners?
Ain't no loyalty.
They don't love you out here in these streets. Exactly. These teams don't love you. That's why if you can get your money, you get your money, you do what you got to do. I don't know whose tweet it was or who retweeted it so I can give them credit, but they were like, that's why I don't see why fans can be mad at, LeBron for making the moves that he makes when you see organizations do what they did to DeMar, and I forgot who the other example was. KD, Boogie making their own choices, but it was another player that basically got screwed over by the organization.
IT?
Definitely IT. I just feel so bad for IT. IT was out of $100 million contract in less than a year.
He lost his sister. He has hip surgery, and like you said, now he's out $100 million.
I feel so bad for him because he genuinely seems like a good dude. Like,
yeah,
he's short. He's got the Iverson mentality. He's a killer instinct. Yeah, he needs to learn to play without the ball, but when you got to make a name for yourself in the league. And I understand he has to show teams that that he can put up buckets and averaging 28 points that year with the Celts, and then. Now you're on the Nuggets making 1 year, $2 million?
2.6, yep.
God. Hold on, let's have a moment of silence, please, just for IT. Actually, I don't want to put a moment of silence because I'm not trying to have it go that way. But I wasn't trying to have it go that way, but I like to pay my respects to this man because I think he's a great player. And he got done dirty by the league. Done real dirty.
Yeah, and it's tough, right? We're in this place, especially in sports, where people would rather get mad at players. We've always talked about that. I don't get it, right? But I think Kawhi is the first person where this may really switch, right? San Antonio was done with him. Like, he sat out. They're like, all right, if he sits out in Toronto, I don't know what's going to happen with Kawhi, right? Jordan. You can't be a Jordan Brand athlete and sit out another season because you're unhappy with where you are location-wise.
No, you can't. And honestly, everything really would be cleared up for Kawhi if he would just say something. He just needs to. You don't have to, and I understand you as a player, you don't owe people anything or owe the fans anything. But for as silent as he is or has been in his entire career. Been a stand-up, athlete, professional athlete in the eyes of fans, management, media, and then you have all of a sudden this bombshell in the past however many months. I think he does need to just come out and be like, just give your point of view and stuff of why you did things or took things to a certain level and where you're at. And that's it. You don't have to say he doesn't have to come out and be like, I want to be in LA or anything. He just needs to give a thought process to explain his thought process, in my opinion, and that will help out a lot more.
I totally agree. I think it's something that we've gone back and forth on with Cap, right? It's the same thing. I think if people heard what you kind of you have to speak at some point for yourself, right? And you've got to be in front of the cameras and answer those tough questions. And I think once you do that, people are just more apt to just be like, oh, okay, I might not agree with you, but I can understand you, or I can kind of get down with that in a way. So,
yeah. Hey, do you hear a fan at all coming through?
No.
Okay, cool. I was just making sure I got my air on and everything. And my computer fan, it's a little bit loud because got this 2010 Mac going. But I'm with you. And where do you see?
Actually, I can now.
Okay, now that I pointed it out,
yeah,
I'm gonna have to go get an ice pack in a second and put it under my battery. But where do you see? So with Kawhi being on the Raptors, I know he doesn't want to play, but where does that put in the East for next year in competition for Toronto?
Yeah, Kawhi, Lowry, Valanciunas, they were able to keep OG Anunoby. They added Danny Green, excuse me.
Which is big. I think they have a solid team.
That is. I think it is too. I think because
very solid team.
Initially, OG Anunoby, shout out IU, was in the initial trade to San Antonio. So to keep him and only trade Jacob Poeltl, you keep Fred VanVleet coming off the bench as well. To me, right, he's now the best player in the East. The Celtics are better, they're deeper, but I think the Raptors are right there because Kawhi is that good.
Yeah, I think the Raptors are what the Celtics were at the end of the year, not having a bench, but having the talent.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, they're not in the same stride and they're not playing how the Celtics were, but I think that's how they line up right now with their roster. And I have a bold prediction, everybody. Everybody knows how our predictions go down. Sterling and I have had some bold predictions, but they've come true.
When you say bold, I'm typically right, and you just say something.
I think you flipped that. I think I'm typically right on most of these. I think I'm like 10 for 10 when it comes to my projections or predictions. I keep mixing up words right now. But I think Kawhi is going to grow to love Toronto. And then when that happens and they see that, you know what? And then he's going to be like, you know what? The East is easier. I see why LeBron's love being over here in the East. Yeah. I can go play with LeBron. I know that option is still there, so I can fool around with that. But I'm not really serious about it. Let's develop a team here with what we got in the nucleus that we have. They don't have a pick for 2019, so they're going to have to. He's going to have to talk management to free agency, but he's going to look at the market more importantly and be like, "You're in a big market, but because it's in Toronto and TSN mainly plays their games, you only get those few national TNT games that will make their rounds. So it's basically like playing in San Antonio again, except the fans are a lot more dope and the city is a lot more dope.
Right.
And then they're going to, being the man in Toronto, being like, come on now, you're going to be in the VIP booth with the OVO crew and Drake. Not like, I mean, that's a pretty cool thing, but being second fiddle to Drake in Toronto, come on now. Who don't love that?
That's not a bad thing. And I agree. So Jalen Rose has always talked about how Toronto is like one of the top 5 NBA places to go, right?
Mm-hmm.
When they are traveling around throughout the year. I just wonder if it, like you said, if it becomes a Paul George situation. Paul George said initially, I wanted to go to LA. He gets to OKC. It's not that he loves OKC, but he loves playing with Russ, which none of us really understand. But that's what happened, right? Also the financial part of it. I think that's another piece of it is Kawhi leaving San Antonio the way he has. He's going to leave about $80 million on the table. And if he stays in Toronto, he's only going to lose $40 million. But if he does go to LA, I mean, again, that's $80 million that you're not going to have. That's a big piece of it, right? At the end of the day. And like you said, if Drake and Toronto embrace Kawhi like they did with DeRozan and Lowry, you know, stranger things have happened.
Stranger things have happened. I'm interested to see, and I think Kawhi is the type of person. Everybody's judging him in the media to be a certain type of person now, and I don't want the media to speak for somebody who hasn't spoken up before. So I don't want people out there, if you're watching, you know, whatever media, sports media that you get your information from. Don't let that frame you and prime you ready to think of Kawhi in a certain way. We don't know who this man is. We really don't. And basketball at the end of the day is business. He wants to win championships. He wants to get out of some place. I understand you have contracts, you have rules, you get it, blah, 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 blah. I get it. But let's wait for Kawhi to come out. Let's see how this kind of shakes out because I'm excited about it. I think it adds another element to the East and continues to add to the TNT knows drama slogan that is now the NBA that we've come to kind of love. It's like Days of Our Lives or whatever that other house to whatever TV drama. Days of Our Lives and The Young and the Restless. That's what I'm thinking.
All Our Children.
All our children too. I was thinking more of The Young and the Restless. I think it's like the biggest one. But The Young and the Restless is the NBA and there's so much drama. We hate that the finals didn't come out to be. It was pretty anticlimactic with everything that went on with the entire season, but the NBA has been fun. It's been a lot of fun.
It still will be.
Is there any other big speculation coming out with the NBA, or is everything pretty much quiet now?
I think it's quiet now, but now, you know, what does that do for San Antonio? I think DeRozan and Pop system would be kind of interesting, to be honest with you. I think that's probably it. There's not going to be too much more movement now until the season starts. I think the last piece is what is Dwayne Wade going to retire, or what does he do? I think, and Carmelo. where does he go? And it looks like the Hawks are trying to get him.
I don't understand that. I know we're trying to get rid of Dennis Schroeder, which I don't agree with because I like Schroeder as a player. I think he has a lot of upside. But you bring in Melo, they're going to buy out his contract, obviously. Then you send Melo on his way. I want to know what the Hawks' plan is. I really do. And I want to make a revision. I got another bold projection, another prediction coming your way from T-Mac. Trae Young is going to be a star. I'm saying it now. And I originally went against something I had said a lot earlier, way back in our early days of starting up with this pod. And I was like, why don't the Hawks ever take the big name to bring the fans in the stands? I'm like, we've always passed up on it. And then this year, we actually went out and got a big name. Did he fizzle out at the tail end of his freshman year at OU? Yeah, pretty much. But like you were saying back then, he's tired. He's playing all these minutes. You have not a strong supporting cast around you. Wait till he gets to the league with players that are playing up to his IQ, basketball IQ, and can roll with him on the court and be get open and make shots when the passes come down to him. So I think if the right people are put in place, I think Trae Young is gonna be an absolute star. And the Hawks, I'm seeing third in the East in 2 years. Third in the East.
So you're saying the 2019 or 20? Are you saying the 2019-2020 season or 2020-2021 season?
2020-2021 season.
Okay. The Hawks will be third in the East.
Third in the East. Pushing, making a strong playoff push.
Listen, I would love
for the championship.
I would love it. I would love and if you follow me on Twitter at SteveMac or whatever, if you have heard me on this pod, I may have sounded a little down on Trae Young. It's mainly because we didn't get Luka Doncic, who I think is going to be amazing.
I was with you. We're on the same boat on that.
But I really do hope Trae does well. Listen, I'm scared of it from a lot of reasons. I don't think he's as listen. It's terrible to say. No one's as good of a shooter as Steph Curry, right? But to be that small and to play in that way, you've got to shoot well, right? And I think he's going to have these nights where he's 3 of 17. He's also going to have nights where he goes 10 of 15, right?
Right.
But I think those are going to be farther and few between. And yeah, I just don't know if he's ever going to be able to put weight on the frame that he has.
Does he need it though? But it all comes down to him making shots. I get that.
I think that's the thing. It just comes down to him making and good decisions, right? Like his turnover ratio, especially early in summer league, you're just like, what are you doing?
Yeah, like Kevin Durant can't bench the bar with 2 donuts on it like he's SpongeBob. Look at him.
That boy can score though.
I know that boy it's his length. It's like his wingspan is ridiculous, but he couldn't bench 185 when he came in. And I think Trae's probably got similar or probably a little bit stronger. We just got to wait and see. But I just wanted to flip it. I wanted to come out on the air and flip my stance on it. I wasn't happy because I wanted Luka, but life ain't always fair, and you got to roll with it. Yeah, and I think Trae, he's a big name. Fans are going to come out to watch threes, and that's what they want to see. And I think it's going to be good.